I want to talk about the stigma around the anniversary versus the original graphics on really both Halo CE and Halo 2. Now, I was recently playing Halo 2 and posting clips of it, and I did this with Halo CE as well, and I was getting comments about, the original, you should be using the original graphics are better. 343 ruined the game by making it all Halo 4, and so I'm just going to give my opinion on some of that. Now, this is just my opinion. This is just my take, and it's seemingly considered a hot take, so be it, but this is just my opinion. In, I would say, 87% of cases, I prefer the new graphics on both Halo 1 and 2. Now, specifically what kind of triggered this was I was walking through this little spot in Halo 2 on Delta Halo, and after you clear a set of enemies, you have to go through, right towards the beginning, you have to go between these two. It's basically a little canyon, a little valley type thing. And on the new graphics, there's all this geometry, there's all these vines, there's all this detail that really makes the ring feel alive, at least to me. You switch to the old graphics and it looks like something off of the N64. Now again, this game was made back in 2004, and it's damn impressive, especially for the time. I'm not discrediting that. Just saying, when it was remastered with the modern technology, in my opinion, it's a hell of a lot better and a hell of a lot nicer to look at, and makes those little walks between the different environments much, much better and easier to palette. Now, I do want to talk about the difference between atmosphere and aesthetics, because there is a difference, and that's one of the big things that I've talked to people about. I was like, okay, well, obviously, the new stuff, there's more pixels, the textures are more detailed. No one's really arguing with that, so I'm kind of not really saying anything, new. The way they present the new graphics has a huge effect on, how the game feels to actually play through. So, for example, in Halo 2, the famous tank bridge scene on Metropolis, you play through it on the new graphics and you're walking through it, man, it looks great. That ship up above, with the beams starting to come down, it looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks fantastic. And, obviously the textures all look amazing. This bus on the left, it looks great. Like, I could pick it apart the whole time. I could talk about this all day. It's amazing. But you switch to the old graphics, wow. Does it look technically worse? Well, obviously, look at Chief's hand. It looks terrible. But the atmosphere is so completely different. I look at the first one, and it seems like, oh, we're a happy, fun time. We're winning. Like, we're fighting baddies. Like, this is great. We're having a great time. Like, the Covenant's on Earth. Who gives a crap? We're doing great. Switch to the old graphics, and you're like,
oh shit, here we go again.
okay, we're losing. Like, this is dire. The Covenant is on Earth. Like, they found us, and they didn't even seem to realize we were here. Like, we are fighting a losing battle. Yeah, the Chief's going and blowing up scarabs and looking awesome, but, like, we're just delaying the inevitable. If the Covenant wanted to wipe us out here, they could, especially if they showed up with a much bigger fleet. But they didn't think they were going to find us here. But point being, the atmosphere is very different. And when I play through this section, I always play through on the new graphics. Yeah, I tab back and forth sometimes, sure, but I'm primarily playing through on the new graphics because I'm, young and brain rotted, I guess, and I like the new textures. It looks good. The SMG here looks fantastic. The old one, while it's cool, it looks like crap. No, I do kind of like the model a little better. I like how sleek it is, but its texture is terrible. So I play on the new graphics. I really like Chief's hand on the new graphics too. That's just me. Can't deny the atmosphere for the story that Bungie was trying to tell is better on the old graphics. So, touche. The other instance where I think these graphics make no difference on the atmosphere in the same game is on Delta Halo. When you first drop in, right before the scene I was mentioning earlier, where you're walking between this little canyon or whatever, right as soon as you drop in, right in here, you look at the old graphics, it looks fine, especially for 2004, it looks pretty good. Dropships, are fine. Again, the SMG and Chief's hand look pretty terrible. The rocket launcher looks fine. Like, nothing's bad. It's just not great. Though what I will say is bad is that hill in the background, but we'll get to that in a second. Switch to the new graphics, and holy shit. All the foliage here, the rocks actually having multiple dimensions to them. The ODSTs suddenly look like proper people who are actually going to help and fight with you. These trees in the background look amazing. And especially if we look up at this wall, oh my gosh, it goes from this completely bland, lifeless, obviously like 2D pictures. I'm no game developer, I don't know how it works, but just bland hill to all of a sudden this foliage. This really feels like a living, breathing ring with wildlife, with stuff going on, which is what it's supposed to be. So, and obviously the lighting is fantastic. And in my opinion, the atmosphere here didn't change. You look at the skybox, not even all that different. It just looks a little better. And texturally. And I think the other thing you look at is out in the distance there. Those super bland and dreary hills suddenly look like an actual expanse of the ring, like it goes on and on. It's fantastic. So I prefer the lighting and everything far better on the new graphics, and I wouldn't even consider using the old graphics right here. That might be a super hot take, but that's just what I think. I think it's way better through here. Same thing, in my opinion, on Halo CE. When you first land on the Halo ring, you look at the old graphics, and honestly, especially for 2001, 2002, 2001, when this came out, like, it's amazing, honestly. These trees are great. You look at how far you can walk, and you can walk to all these little corners and stuff. Like, it's pretty incredible. And again, this is 2001. But you switch to the new graphics, and wow, all of a sudden you got these shadows going on. This lighting is a little different. It's a slightly different time of day. I think that's better, in my opinion, for this kind of exploratory mission that's supposed to be this new dawn, exploring this never before seen alien artifact. Like, this is pretty cool. Go to the old graphics, it's very dreary, and maybe people like that for like the hopeless and alone type thing, but in my opinion, I think the lighting on the new graphics makes more sense. We're about to go look for more Marines and gather things up. We're kind of building this hopeful charge to explore this ring. Back to specifically the graphics, again, just to me, these cliff faces that are just sheer and straight and bland, honestly, maybe depending on where you are in the world, they're not unrealistic cliff faces. Some cliffs are boring, but visually, the new graphics, they're more detailed, better cliff faces, and I just think it adds to the overall depth. The different geometry, there's so many more angles and stuff, it adds to the depth. To the old graphic people credit, I think the waterfall is better in the old graphics because it goes all the way to the top. I noticed that when I was getting the footage for this video, so touche there. The trees look a lot better. I especially noticed the difference in the trees on this cliff face on the left here. When you look back and forth between these two, I mean, yikes. Again, it looks like the N64 type stuff, and not in a good way, in my personal opinion. And obviously, just looking at the assault rifle and Chief's hands, I think it's infinitely better, no pun intended, in the new graphics. There's a whole conversation you could have about the HUD and how different, slightly different it is on the new graphics without the white borders and stuff. I think that's neither here nor there. It doesn't bother me. Do I really think they needed to change it? Not really, but I don't know. It doesn't. No different to me. But some people kind of hold that also as the holy grail of, oh my god, they changed my HUD. I can't play this game anymore. I really don't get that. So back to Halo 2, what I'll give people some credit for on the graphics and more specifically the remaster, how it changed the feel of things, the multiplayer. Multiplayer is very clearly just ripped from Halo 4 and removing sprint. I guess obviously there's no sprint in Halo 2, but they bring the assault rifle right back, they put it in there. It's basically the Halo 4 model. In the Master Chief Collection, all the customization is primarily just Halo 4 stuff moved over to Halo 2. So it's a little not faithful to what the original devs made. I personally think the original Halo 2 campaign was remade pretty faithfully, or remastered, I should say, not but remastered quite faithfully by 343. I especially like the cutscenes, the cinematography in some of these shots is just amazing. The lighting, I mean, holy cow! I rewatch this stuff all the time, and I have to say, just going back and looking at especially the scene where where Chief is running from the glassing beam, it actually feels tense and like, oh my gosh, look at him go. Like, this is a big moment. This is a big deal. Running away. Go back to the old graphics, and he's like lightly kind of jogging along. The camera works way worse. Like, again, really, really good for the time. But in my opinion, it's undoubtedly better in the new graphics. That's just my take on it. And I kind of wanted to make this to talk about based on the comments I was getting and stuff. And I've been playing through Halo with a friend. One of the things he just talked about was the snow. There's these parts, Halo 2, in Quarantine Zone, where it's supposed to be snowing. And remaster, it's not snowing. There's plenty of snow on the ground. The whole place looks great, but it's not snowing. Look up at the skybox, and it's not, clouded and screwed up. You can kind of see up there because it's broad daylight. Very different change in atmosphere. And while I don't think the new stuff looks bad, I don't understand why they didn't just remaster the snowy fogginess. Why'd you change the atmosphere so severely? Especially in that case, it doesn't make sense to me. I briefly touched on the flood level in Halo CE earlier. I don't think it's that big of a change in atmosphere, personally. I think it's different. It's arguably, again, worse on the new graphics atmospherically, but I still play through that level on graphics, and I think it's great. So, that's neither here nor there. But point being, there are these things that they remastered and did differently for no real reason. And as much as I love the new graphics, I don't really understand that. That's where these people's argument does have so much weight. Just, they're changing it just for the sake of changing it and making it their own. And I'm rambling now, so I'll stop. But I just want to say that. And again, just to kind of close out, I prefer the new graphics every time I play through this game. While I tab back to the old graphics just to, for nostalgia and just to see it, whatever. I prefer the new graphics. I certainly prefer the new cutscenes. I almost never watch the cutscenes on the old graphics. They're just worse, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I appreciate you hearing me out and listening to my ramble, and I will talk to you later. Peace.